Raff Rant. I'm Raff.
And I'm Raff. We're Raff.
Raff Farisco of the Far From Vesuvius podcast. That's Ralph Pizarro of Calcio Napoli Club. Just rant about Napoli.
Let's go for it.
We're going to rant. We're going to match report. We're going to talk about the games. We're going to talk about topics. You leave comments and we'll read your comments out. Question.
All right. Quick stats.
Yes. Throw the stats up there. On to a nice little segment that we're going to call the Beast of the Match.
Who is beast in it for the Napoli team? Let's see.
Follow us on Facebook, Raffaele Rispo, Ralph Pizarro, Twitter at RaffaNapoli83. That's me.
CNC USA 26.
I want some feedback to the show. What do you guys want to see? What do you want to see more or less of? This is going to be a show for you guys too. I want a lot of comments.
We want to rant about something. Let us know if you want us to rant about something.
I promise you, we're not going to agree on everything all the time.
We won't.
We're going to yell at each other every now and then.
Come and rant. This is what it's for. We want to give you a space to let loose so you can do it here.
Well, that's going to do it, Ralph. Were we boring enough for you?
I don't know. I think we were great.
Let's get to it.
Madonna do Carmen, aiutici tu.
Benvenuti, fellas and bellas all over the world. Welcome to another episode of the Raff and Raff Rant. I am Raff Biz, joined by my co-host,
What's up, Rafa? What's going on, my friend? How are you today?
I am well. I am doing okay. It is cold in New York, but I am a lot warmer
Freezing.
now that we're here. You know,
think it's cold down there? It's freezing up here, brother.
Oh, you got that right. You're up. You're like north New York.
North. That's right.
North. You the north.
Yeah. Definitely the north, my friend. Definitely the north. But I'd like to say to everybody out there watching, a happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
Day. So whether you're in love or not, I don't care. I'm still saying it. Happy Valentine's. San Valentino.
San Valentino. All the lovebirds are probably out having a nice dinner today. Good year, good time. With all the craziness going on in the environment. Maybe it's nice to have the restaurants kind of like back on track now. I'm a big hospitality guy, so how I have the day off today. Don't ask. Don't ask.
That's pretty crazy to me.
Ask no questions. Ask no questions.
Well, listen, you got Mondays off for the rant, right? It's just the way it is.
Only that was the term for North New York.
Right before we, I got home to, come on live and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up dinner for myself and my fiance, Allie. We had a quick dinner and then we're going to hang after this, just going to stay in. But, so I got a place up in Malta, New York called Azuma. If anybody is in the 518 area and up by me and wants to have some Japanese or sushi or whatever, Azuma is the place to go. Let me tell you something. This place was packed to the freaking brim, dude. Like, I mean, the lines are like outside the door just to pick up like takeout. You call in orders, just absolutely pandemonium today. So yeah, it's good to see. And we were talking with our guest before. We signed in here that things are back open again here, and things are looking good, and hopefully it stays this way this time, right? And it was just nice to see everybody busy and moving and working, and people out enjoying themselves.
Right. Definitely. Let's have a good 2022. There you go. You got your drink ready, Rafa. But speaking of our guest, he was on. We just had the big game this week, right? Napoli Inter just passed this week, and we're going to talk all about it. And had to call this guest back. He was on our show before. We had a great time. He is 1/3 of the Italian football podcast, also the founder of Sempre Inter. You know him. You love him. Ladies and gentlemen, fellas and bellas, boys and girls, I present to you Nima Tavallaey. Here we are.
Nima Tavallaey.
Hey, guys. Good to be with you.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm well. Thank you for asking, man. Welcome back, man. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Good to see you back, Nima. We're happy to have you here again.
I had such a good time last time. Thanks for inviting me again.
Awesome. Yes.
And in Finland,
yes.
I got to say, I don't live in Finland.
Yes.
I live in Sweden, but
Okay.
Valentine's Day. It's not Valentine's Day. It's Friendship Day there.
Oh,
they say it's friendship day there.
Like
it's
friend zone day.
No,
There's a lot of guys would
friend zone day. No,
I'd
over
feel right.
here,
but in
I'd have
Sweden
tons
it's
of dates.
Valentine's Day. But in Sweden it's Valentine's Day. But yeah, in Finland it's friendship day.
Friendship day.
Yeah,
but so
day.
Can you explain? Because I'm not too familiar with it. So friendship, like
celebrate.
Can you go out with anybody?
Yeah, it's like celebrate that your friends and that basically friendship. The concept of friendship.
Okay, cool. Not friends with benefits, just
nothing sexual.
Okay.
Just friends.
So it's funny because yesterday I think was Galentine's Day, right? I don't know now. I'm not very familiar, but I saw a lot of posts about Galentine's Day. I guess it's either A, the girlfriends all get together and hang out, or B, you hang with your side woman. On February 13th, I guess. I don't know.
God.
I saw it on Facebook. I thought I'd throw that in there. Someone out there could help us out, right? What's Galentine's Day, guys?
Yeah, that sounds like the gal's night out. Not really,
I would hope so. I would
right?
hope so, but
I would think it'd be called like Gumarentines.
Gumarentines.
So like, oh boy. But speaking of love, Nima, big Inter fan. You have, Inter basically during the winter area.
Shout out to Quentin for that amazing quote from
Quentin pulls out amazing quotes every single time, dude.
That movie is one of my favorite movies, so well done.
This is from Goodfellas, right? Friday night was for the girlfriend. Saturday at the Copa was for the wives. 100%. Great movie, Goodfellas, man.
Great movie.
And it was based from my neighborhood, Queens. Shout out to Queens.
Really? Oh,
yeah. Airline Diner. When you come, I'm gonna take you there.
I would love that. I would love that.
Too.
Yes.
Oh my God, it would be amazing.
I always take anybody who comes by and visit Queens. I always take them to the restaurant tours first. We do the pizza, the diners, the shish kebabs, and always lots of fun. But back to Inter. You guys. Napoli. Come on, Napoli was holding it down for a little bit in first place there for the opening of the season, but they suffered kind of like a few string of injuries. They had a little bad form. Some people, we had a few players that had to go to AFCON. Inter held down first place, and when was it? Was it December that they took it, or
yeah, it was around then, wasn't it? Like November.
I think it was more. I think it was more like end of November, maybe mid-November.
November, something like that.
Some along that lines, right?
Yeah.
Some along that line.
And they started playing some really damn good football, and it was actually after the defeat against Lazio that it kind of clicked.
Sure.
And they played the derby. They played really well in the derby. They didn't win the derby, which has been kind of the story under Simone Inzaghi so far in the derbies, playing really, really well, but can't convert. But just generally, Simone Inzaghi's been that's the story under Simone Inzaghi. Play really good football, but too many chances squandered because this team does not have a natural goal scorer. And I've been saying it so much that I'm tired of hearing myself say it. It's not fun to have to, when they sold Lukaku and they replaced with Dzeko and Joaquin Correa, I was like, well, none of them is a natural goal scorer anymore. Or ever has been in Correa's case. I don't know what the hell that was or why they even got him, but
you wouldn't qualify Dzeko as a goal scorer, like
not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay, that's where I was going.
No, because he's like at the point of he's 36 in a few weeks, and you can't demand like for him to score the 20-30 goals a season. You just can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. You just it's just unfair.
So would you say 5 years too late? Yeah,
absolutely. It's 2-3 years even too late. I just think you can't do that anymore of him. And so, but he's absolutely done more than you could ask of him. I mean, the clutch goals that he scores, you guys, Juventus, twice against Roma, against Venezia, Sassuolo. I mean, he has done everything we can ask of him. But that's the thing with Inter; they don't have a natural goal scorer. You have Osimhen; he is a natural goal scorer. He's the best number 9 in the Serie A. He's complete. He doesn't have a weakness. But Inter don't have that, and that's the only thing they're missing because everything else is kind of there. with minor tweaks in the summer, obviously with the goalkeeper and the central defender with De Vrij, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. But no, they took over and they looked really well. I was a little bit worried that I don't like to see teams peak in November, December. I want them to peak in February, March, April when it matters.
Right.
And I always said that after the Napoli game is when we'll know how the Scudetto race looks. And here we are. And Inter are a point behind Milan with a game in hand, of course. Everything in their own hands. And they're padroni dei destini. They're the masters of their destiny, as the Italians say. But still, it was just so unnecessary. It's one thing to lose the derby when it's close or whatever, but when you lose the derby because
with another kind of clutch older guy kind of coming through in Giroud, right? Like scoring, he got both those goals, right? Am I not?
No, you're absolutely right. But both of those goals are in part because Stefan De Vrij and Samir Handanovic, it's not form, it's a decline. With Handanovic, we've known that for a couple of seasons. He can still do individual games extremely well and be man of the match like he was against Napoli. In my opinion, he was Inter's best player. But having said that, with De Vrij, it's like, I don't know if it's a physical decline like it is with Handanovic, or if it's a mental decline where he's been in Italy for almost a decade. He's won everything in the country. He needs a new challenge. But regardless, it doesn't matter because this is something we've seen systematically since he was named the best defender in the league. Saw a slow decline last season, and now it's starting to show, which is exactly what happened with Handanovic. And this is this is something that has to be addressed in the summer. Inter can't afford to have a player of Stefan De Vrij's caliber and wage that earns the money he does, who is on a decline. They have to sell him in the summer. It's as simple as that. And we saw that. I mean, it's the stupid penalty that he gave away against Milan. He's the first central defender in world football history to have been turned by Olivier Giroud, who is about as mobile and has the mobility of a refrigerator from 1955. So it's embarrassing, it gets ridiculous. How do you get turned by Olivier Giroud at 36? Yeah. I mean, they used to call him the lamppost at Arsenal when he was young and mobile. Now he's old and barely moving, and you get turned by him? Come on. Or against Sassuolo, when you're unattacked, you're making a back pass, and you miss-hit it and miss-kick it so badly, you almost get your goalkeeper sent off. I mean, it's been stupid stuff like this time and time again throughout the season with him. And it's they have to address the situation. It's as simple as that.
I mean, he was also guilty of giving away the penalty in the Napoli game. And it was fun. I was rewatching it. And he was nowhere near the ball when he did that. Like the ball was
clumsy.
It was like a meter away from his leg.
There was no need for it.
He just steps on Osimhen's ankle.
There was no need for it. Of course it's a penalty. What are you doing?
Right. Like I don't even think Osimhen was in reach for the ball because it went kind of like right by him.
But this is what I mean about the decline. His concentration, his timing is off, and he was scared of Osimhen, which is just amazing that you go into a game like this and you look scared for 90 minutes. It's not working. It's really
I'm with you there. It's funny. I'm kind of glad you brought it up because I was writing in my notes about De Vrij for this game, and I just wasn't happy. First, he stepped on Osimhen's ankle when clearly he didn't need to. There was another point that he kind of jumps up for the ball, almost swings over Osimhen's back. Again, just not needed. There was times he had the ball and he's trying to almost hockey check Victor Osimhen. I was just not happy with he was pissing me off, to be honest. All right, just as a fan,
no, of course, but no, like
but why do I feel like he looked like he wanted to hurt Victor every time?
No, I don't think he wanted to hurt him. He was scared of him, and his timing is off, and he knows that he's not in form, and so he comes in too late, too early, or whatever it is, and he was scared of Osimhen, and that showed, and he was nervous, and that's why this nervousness spread throughout Inter from minute 5 to the end of the first half, where Inter were lucky they were only a goal down. Let's be honest, this is exactly like Inter in the Milan derby, dominating the first half and should have been 3-4 goals up, got got their asses got their clocks cleaned in the second half. Now Napoli obviously didn't lose the game, but they should have put it to bed in the first half, and they didn't.
Right. Zielinski hits the post.
Yeah.
A couple of more chances and
bicycle kick by Insigne.
Bicycle
kick. That was the worst half. That was the worst half under Simone Inzaghi.
Really, the worst half all season.
Worst half of season. They were. I mean, Çalhanoğlu
he was gone all game. Never mind the first half.
I mean, it was better in the second half, but the first half, all of them were just atrocious. Brozovic looked like Vecino.
Barella with few turnovers.
Barella as well. I mean, you don't see him do that. Like,
what is he looking at?
No, it was a bad situation. Yeah. Inter were after that penalty call, they were nervous. This is immediately after the derby. There were it's a lot of psychology in place. People don't understand the derby defeat is more than just a defeat. It really creates momentum or it ruins momentum. Look at Milan. They just after winning the derby, the way they did, they were so buzzing, they just ran over Lazio in sheer energy. And then same thing with Sampdoria. They didn't play well that game, but it didn't matter because they were so relaxed and happy that they were going to win that game regardless. Whereas Inter, after a derby defeat, that creates doubt, especially a derby defeat where you dominate for an hour and you still can't win for the second derby in a row. That's becoming a tendency now. That's becoming a pattern of behavior, and that's not a good thing you want to have in the derby. But it was important for Inter. I got to say, it was incredibly important after the first half they had, the dreadful first half they had, to come back in the second half, get a quick equalizer, and then start to control and dictate the midfield, work themselves into it, and feel maybe that with a little bit more luck they could have won it. That's good for the confidence. Whilst for Napoli, I think they have every right to feel a little bit, this was a missed opportunity. I get that.
Now, I was going to get
yes. Let's dive into that.
I don't know if you have a question or comment for Nima, but
I did. But it was regarding you had mentioned about Inter's performance. But I wanted to ask you real quick before we get to the second half, because I think this is important. How much do you think of it was maybe a little bit of fatigue after playing Roma a few days prior, and maybe knowing that they got to play Liverpool, I think this Thursday, right?
No, Wednesday.
Well, I'm sorry, this Wednesday for Champions League. How much of that were they thinking of? How much of Simone Inzaghi about maybe preserving some of their energy and what have you? How much of it is fatigue? How much of it is preserving energy? Or did that not play a factor at all?
No, I don't think it was fatigue. I think obviously fatigue is a factor because it's been a lot of games, but that's the same for everybody, mainly for, I don't think that's something. I think this was more a psychological thing after that derby defeat, the way that derby defeat came in 3 minutes, where you completely dominated and started relaxing for some stupid reason.
Right.
It's only a 1-goal lead. And
they're at a full São Paulo. I mean, there's whistles and jeers all over the stadium. I mean, Inter had a lot to deal with. I feel like mentally, I get what you're saying, but I can't imagine.
That's a difficult place for you. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Right,
that's a difficult place for Inter to come to historically. I think Inter have only won in the Serie A 14. Is it 14 or 18 times in entire?
It's not many.
It's not many. This is a place Inter struggle at.
But it's also just a very because now 50% capacity. It seemed like a lot more. The ultras are back in. It was a big match.
God bless
on 7 days rest.
50% my ass.
50%.
No, 50%.
I love
50% in
on paper.
On paper, right?
Napoli numbers is not 50%.
Yeah. The other 50% didn't buy tickets, Rafa. They just kind of stuck right in.
They just turned up.
Yeah, they just turned up.
God bless me.
But yeah, we'll get into this. I'm sorry, Rafa. You want
to? No. Just it's an intimidating place to go to anyway. I mean, players have come out and said that publicly.
Oh yeah. It is.
When you add the fact that this is for the Scudetto, not for the Scudetto, it's still quite a ways to go, in my opinion. But this was a big one for the Scudetto. Inter, like I think what Raff said about Liverpool, and having, to deal with Champions League as well. Historically, they haven't had to do that with this group of players. You know, I know Inzaghi was in the Champions League last season, but the past 3 seasons they've made it to the Champions League. They haven't gotten out of the group stage. Now they're in the knockouts and against Liverpool, big club. There's a lot of factors there. Now the semifinal of the Coppa is the derby again against Milan, and I think it was just a lot of pressure on Inter, and the fact that they gave up the early penalty had a lot to do, in my opinion, with their lack of play in the first half. Plus, Napoli were determined. Everyone's back except for Chucky, and I think it was Tuanzebe. But this was the most full lineup that Napoli have had since the injuries, COVID, AFCON. Everyone was back. They got their big man Koulibaly back. Big time, performance from him, and I think everything was going the right way for Napoli. Then the second half, right, comes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm impressed. That's why I find it so impressive by Inter to be able to turn that around, right? And that's what I mean about the confidence.
But let me ask you this quick, Nima. In your opinion, because I mean I'm going to attribute the goal, Inter's goal, to a real big Napoli f up in defense.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Di Lorenzo messes up, comes off of Koulibaly's arm, which I think would have been called a penalty anyway. My opinion, had Dzeko not buried it. Fantastic strike. Don't get me wrong. Went high when Ospina was low. Very, very nice strike. I was very impressed by it. Like, couldn't even be mad at it. It was more mad at the defensive error.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Nima: If Inter don't get that early equalizer,
then Napoli
talking about a different result right now?
Then Napoli win that game. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Because that goal that conditions the game. I think the same way that the penalty early on in the first half conditioned the rest of that half.
Sure.
That early goal conditions the rest of that half because immediately Inter are like, oh, they catch a lucky break. They feel that finally we catch something. Because it's minute 47 that comes in. It's not 57, 55.
Right.
It's minute 47. It's right in the beginning. And it's important. These things, I think, especially in a season like that, I think that if Inter win the Scudetto in May, then one of the defining moments for that win will be this equalizer against Naples at that point. That's how important I see that goal, because it just lifts their spirits up when they're completely down. And it kind of, it's a great cross by Lautaro, sure, and Dzeko mishits the header. It bounces off of Di Lorenzo, and he's quick to react. But it's an incredibly important goal. I think moments like this and games like this, they are decided by the episodes, as the Italians say. These tiny little episodes decide a lot, and especially games that are that high intense and are so tight, like that game was. But no, I honestly think that had Napoli won that game, given that Napoli's a special city and a special club, and what I mean by that is that when they're buzzing, and they were buzzing, they're the most informed team in January in the Serie A. They just won all these games without these players at AFCON. Everybody was expecting them to drop points. They didn't drop one. They won all. All these players come back.
Yeah.
Nima. Nina. Nima.
Yeah.
Nina.
Nina fuori.
Right. Chris is admiring your
yeah. Thanks. That's an old. I'll tell the story later, but where I got this from. But it's a gift. But yeah, no. So look, basically, Inter. Look, it's these tiny episodes that decide it, and I honestly think that where Napoli were buzzing, and they're a mood. They're like Roma in that sense, Napoli and Roma, in the sense that when things are going well, they get this mental boost, and they can beat anyone just by being positive, the energy they have. And I think if they win that game against Inter, Napoli are my favorites to win the Scudetto.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone stops them. I think maybe that then the problem becomes for Spalletti to manage and control the expectation. I think now you've lost to Inter, you've drawn, you're 1 point behind Inter who have a game in hand. I think I'm not going to say it's over, because it's not, but I do think that it'll be difficult for Napoli to win the Scudetto now. I think so, and I don't think it's something we can demand of Spalletti in his first season either.
No.
I think the top 4 is what we could have demanded of him, and that there is no doubt you're getting that.
Top 4 was always the goal.
Yeah, and you're getting it. You're getting it. But the
as
fact
we
that you
would
can
be
mount
to-
but the fact that you can mount a Scudetto challenge to me is incredibly impressive.
Sure. I gotta tell you, I mean, and I'm gonna catch a lot of heat for this because I just do. I always do. But just
what we do here,
Yeah, just being in the title picture, year 1 of Spalletti's run, is a win for me. Like we're talking about Scudetto in almost March,
February, March. Yeah, it's
amazing.
amazing.
And let's face it, Nima. I mean, in my opinion, this race is going to go down to the wire.
Quentin is right. Quentin is right.
Let's see. So he goes, I think you're speaking about Southern Italians in general. When they are happy, they're happy and positive. But when they are not,
yeah.
Dot. Right. Use your magic.
Sorry,
no,
Raff.
that's okay.
No, it's what we do here. That's part of.
I might be the exception to that. I think I'm always trying to stay positive. I am. I look at things half glass full all the time, Nima, and it's like. And you might see it in my posts, man. Like I will
co-sign Rafa Rispo. I will co-sign Rafa Rispo as probably the most positive Napoli Don.
I can't because I can't see being out of it already. There's so many people on
it's
Twitter like, oh, it's done, it's over.
But
like,
you need
it's
that.
hard. It's going to be difficult, but it's not over. There's no way.
Even if you don't win it, I look at it like this. Even if you don't win it, so what? Like, this is not the season for Napoli to win. Like, you can't expect that.
Right.
Like you said, mid-February, March, you're talking Scudetto. Nobody could have, everyone would give up their right arm to be in this position in August. You know what I mean? Like,
this wasn't a conversation the past 2 seasons,
No.
So I'm happy.
Not even, you should be. And I think that I look at Napoli like this, and Spalletti is brilliant at organizing. People don't give him credit for that, because he's known for his attacking football, but he can organize a defense, and he knows how to get players to improve themselves and to take the next step. He did it at Inter with Skriniar and De Vrij and Brozovic. God, he made him a world-class player. He took that step under Spalletti. Rahmani's been outstanding this season. Lobotka's been amazing this season. It's this is what Spalletti does, and he's only been there for like 8-9 months. I still think that, look, for me, Napoli is a Scudetto candidate next season. If you guys get to the Champions League, you finish the Mateus Oliveira signing on as a left back. You bring in a central defender that can act as a backup. You have to sell Fabian Ruiz because he's not extending that contract. That'll bring some damn good money in, and I trust Napoli's scouting. I trust it blindly because they have shown us that they find these gems that know. Who knew who Koulibaly was? Who knew who Hamšík was? Lavezzi. I could go on all night.
Oh, for sure.
And so when they find a player that Anguissa as well. They weren't that good.
These guys came out of nowhere, basically.
Out of nowhere, and that's Napoli in a nutshell. Zielinski as well. I trust their scouting. When they buy players that they think can function in the system, it always works out. So I'm sure they're going to replace it. And if you're in the Champions League next season, which I think you will be in the group stages, that creates more revenue. It's going to be 100% capacity. We're not going to have this stuff like this anymore. I doubt it. So no, Napoli are going to be flying, and again,
especially with all that cap space coming off too. By the end of this, we're going to sell some people.
No, but listen, also
we're going to open up more opportunities.
But also, look, Napoli is. I see them as a Scudetto candidate next season. I really do. I think all they need to do is just fine tune a few things. And Spalletti's second season is not bad. He knows what he's doing. It was a little bit worse at Inter, but there were other factors with the wheels coming off there with this Mrs. Wanda Nara and Mauro Icardi and arguing and all the Raja Nainggolan and all that drama there. That wasn't it was what it was. But no, I really believe in this Napoli project, and especially under Spalletti. I've been wanting him. You guys follow me on social media. I've been wanting him to take over Napoli for years because I think the squad was built for him. Even when Gattuso was there, I was like, why? Like, this is a mistake. Go after Spalletti. He's ideal for this side, for this team.
Well, I'm sure. As far as last season goes, we hear maybe COVID influenced De Laurentiis' decision as far as keeping.
That was more Spalletti. Spalletti wasn't giving up that
available.
contract. Yeah, he had that contract, 3-year contract with Inter, where he was paid hand. He was in Tuscany in his vineyard with his pet duck Biancaneve. He was enjoying life. He was not gonna break that contract up.
No, I hear that. If you can stay home and get paid, which like 80% of Americans did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you can stay home and get paid handsomely and go, live in your vineyard in Tuscany, the beautiful Tuscan Valley that he lives in, and wake up in the morning and feed your pet duck Snow White, then you do that. I do that as well. It's beautiful where he is. Like that part of Tuscany, I've been there. It is heaven. If you paid me a couple of million to stay there and do that, I wouldn't move.
Tuscany is like one big painting, beautiful.
Exactly.
Painting,
It is. It's absolutely stunning.
It's gorgeous.
So,
I have a question, Rafa. I had a question from Cliff. I promise I get it out. Nima, you kind of answered it, but I just want to throw it up there. Cliff asks, Nima, I have a question. How worried are you about the Scudetto race? Are you still confident, or do you think it's up in the air right now?
Look, I think it's, you can't say, I don't think anyone can be confident right now. But do I think that Inter have the upper hand and a little bit of a favorites today? Yeah, I do. I think so. I think I think Napoli are there, and they will be to the end. I think it's going to be a tight race until the end. But I do think Inter are the favorites, yes, but that doesn't mean that it's a given. Far from it. This is a race. This is a 3-horse race. And we'll have to see, because I think qualitatively, as the squad goes, I think Napoli are better than Milan. I really think that. I think I look at Milan and I see a young squad. I see a very talented young squad that has so much potential, but they're not just quite there yet.
Right.
They still, had they not, I mean, let me put it to you this way: last season when they lost the return derby, they fell apart.
Yeah.
And now, had they done that, I'd expected them to do the same this time around, because that's the thing when you build with young players, they lack the routine and experience, and they're a little bit inconsistent, and that's what you got to give them the time, because it's worth it in the end. But I still think that Milan are not, for me, I don't think they're going to win the Scudetto. I think it's between Inter and Napoli, and I see Inter as the favorites. Yeah, I do.
Now, does Europe have a play though in this? Because I mean, Milan not having Europe to deal with,
that helps.
It helps, but we've seen during the months that Europe, isn't a factor. Milan lose a few games, come up short, and aside from the derby and against Sampdoria, but we've seen them falter, drop a few points, So I'm wondering if that might not be enough for Milan to hang with us.
I think we'll know in 2 weeks, because I think the Coppa Italia derbies, the fact that they're played on March 1st and April 20th ish, because they haven't confirmed this return leg. Those two, look, whoever wins that March 1st game, and I think they both will go in there and try to just draw it, because a derby defeat is, like we said, that is such a psychological factor. I think Milan will try to gridlock that and not lose. And I think, depending on the situation, Inter will definitely try not to lose that as well. But if they see an opening to win, they'll go for it. But I think those two, the Scudetto, Milan's and Inter's chances to win the Scudetto will be decided based on the outcome of those two derbies, because the psychological boost that gives is unbelievable, as we've seen.
Milan's upcoming matches of February 19th, Saturday, against Salernitana, who just sacked Colantuono, might be adding Pirlo.
They are so bad, Salernitana.
They're bad, but I feel like
is Pirlo going to coach them? There was a few people saying,
I mean, it's heavily rumored Pirlo's going to take them over, and who knows, right?
A few people said it in the chat, but I wasn't sure if it was confirmed. So
they made a few really good moves in the offseason.
Yeah, they did, but it's
get ready
too
for
little,
next
too
season,
late.
possibly.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're preparing for Serie B to come back.
But I mean, so Salernitana, and then it's Milan host Udinese on the 25th, and then March 1st is Milan Inter Coppa Italia.
Yeah, that's the one.
And March 6th is Napoli Milan Serie A.
Yeah, that's what you see. That's what I mean. Again, now it's the other way around because Inter don't play Napoli immediately after the derby. Now Milan do. So you see what I mean? I think that's there's a dynamic here at play that I think is going to be the Coppa Italia will I think will have a huge impact on that just because it's a derby game. It's gonna the first game. Right. Yeah, just because it's a derby game.
It's not just a semifinal.
No. It's the semifinal wouldn't have any impact.
It's two derbies.
It's two derbies, and the first is going to be played in front of 75% capacity, and the second 100%. So again, the crowds coming back and all that. And I think, let's be honest, I think these players they've gotten used to a little bit not playing in front of crowds.
A little quiet, right? You think so?
So I think that now that they come back, that will actually have an effect. I noticed myself just watching that. I got stressed from the noise.
The noise
of the Napoli. No, but seriously, do you know what I mean? Because we're not used to it anymore.
Wait till Napoli have to play Milan. Wait till Milan have to play Napoli at the Maradona at 75, 100% capacity.
Yeah, 75 on paper.
75.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
God bless Naples.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I think it's going to be that the Milan derby is going to be I think it's going to have a huge impact on the Serie A title race.
Well, that and Milan finished the season it's pretty tough because Inter in the Coppa's second leg. Then it's Lazio, Fiorentina, Verona, Atalanta, Sassuolo.
Those are not easy games. The last 5 games. You see what I mean?
Those are big last 5 games.
Yeah, and Atalanta is not easy. I mean, they're a team that I don't think they'll finish in the top 4 because what Gasperini's kind of rebuilding a little bit. But you see glimpses of what he's trying to do, and it's starting to work. And it clicked at times against Juve, and it looked good. I mean, they once again. Cop Miners and Malinovsky and all these guys.
Yeah,
it's the intensity with which they press teams and to breaking point, and that they do that for 90 minutes is genuinely astounding.
I believe you there. I remember last time you came on, Nima, you had said that Napoli was just gonna miss top 4. And I didn't believe you. I was like, but the fan in me didn't believe you. But deep down, I was like, damn, he might be right. We might just.
No, I think you're finishing second. I think you're finishing second.
Yeah,
I think Inter Napoli Milan Juve. Yeah,
I'll take that from you, sir, because
no, I think so. I really think so, and I think you're going to push Inter all the way.
Well, and look at. I started to tweet this yesterday, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk about it here. At the beginning of all of this AFCON stuff, where we had the most represented in Serie A, Napoli did, right? Would have been or was still, but Unas was ended up getting he had his heart issue, and then Osimhen wasn't called or didn't go or whatever that mess was. But anyway, the most important players on a team at AFCON were Napoli's players, plus the injuries, plus the COVID. At the beginning of the ritorno legs of the season was Juventus Napoli in Torino, where everyone was like, that's it. This is the beginning of the end. We're going to get destroyed in January and February.
Well, you won. You did really well in January.
Right. We had already slipped with, the injury to Osimhen and a couple of other injuries. We slipped out of first. So at the point that we're talking about now, January 6th, we were 7 points behind Inter for the Scudetto, right? Now, Inter ends up getting that, match abandoned and rescheduled with Bologna. And to have everyone back healthy and available to Napoli by the time that Inter game came, because I was very anxious about that. Like, I was nervous about that Inter game meaning something for us anymore. Like, I was like, is this even going to be, how many points out are we going to be? To be 1 point behind Inter and maintain that 1 point, of course, you guys have to play that one game. Even if it was a 4-point deficit, I'll take that 4-point deficit at the end of all this, because it could well have been a 10, 12-point deficit by the time we played Inter this past weekend. And just to hear the people out there and to see these posts about Napoli are done, they should have they squandered their opportunity. That's it. The mentality, the this, that mentality. Let me tell you about mentality. We're still 1 point out of the freaking behind Inter. We're 3 points behind Milan, but 2 points behind two. We're 2 points behind the Scudetto leaders right now.
This is coming down to the wire. We've been saying
Milan. I think Napoli pushing all the way. I think Napoli are going to push Inter all the way. I think here's the thing though, and this is something where I'm a little bit critical of Spalletti normally, and I think it might take care of itself, and it's a blessing in disguise. I think he should throw the Europa League. I've thought so all season. This is Napoli's best chance to win. This is Napoli's best chance ever that I can remember.
Nima, why can't we win both, man?
No. Listen. I'll explain what I mean, and I think because I don't think you have the depth to win both, but I do think now that you're playing Barcelona, I say you can't throw it because it gets embarrassing. They are Barcelona, so the players that get fired up and stuff. But I do think that the longer you are in the Europa League, the more it harms your chances to win the Scudetto. I do think that because I don't think you have the depth. But having said that, I mean, come on, it's if you can win the Scudetto, the Europa League, what are we even talking? What are we even talking about?
No, you're right.
And because I look at it like this: Milan are gonna get stronger. Inter are going to get stronger. Juve for sure are going to get stronger. This is a golden chance for Napoli. They're never going to have a chance like this where Juve are this week, where Milan are still in transition, where Inter had the nightmare mercato they had. They already started signing Gosens and all these players. And they're going to get stronger. All these teams are going to get stronger. This is a golden chance. Now, I get it. You're playing Barcelona. You can't throw that game because it's Barcelona and the players will get fired up. And I get that. But I'm starting to wonder if it's such a wise thing to go far in the Europa League. I hope Napoli win it, of course. I want all Serie A teams to do well in Europe. But I'm thinking if I'm looking at this from a Napoli perspective, I'm thinking, I want to be where Milan is in this situation and only have one. You know what I mean?
Well, to have them both in the same situation, Napoli edged, Milan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a Napoli in Europe is going to finish over Europe-less Milan this season. That's how I feel.
No, I think you're going to finish above them anyway, but I think that you would save yourselves a lot of energy.
No, you're right in that sense. I just can't, man. I can't. I
think nothing would make me more happier than to see Napoli and Luciano win the Europa League 1 year after, in the year 1 AD after Diego. Like it would just be for Napoli to win that trophy that Diego won last for them, I think, or even the Scudetto. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, regardless of who you support, you see the beauty in that the year 1 AD after Diego. You know,
that's clever, man. I love that.
It would be so beautiful. So I want them to win something, but I don't know. It's tricky. And I have been critical of Spalletti in the past because I don't think he's been very good at rotating. But we'll see. I mean, Barcelona they're a good side. I know people, they've had their struggles, but they have some good players, especially now in that midfield with Gavi, Pedri, Ferran Torres, and all these players. I mean, they can maintain possession until the cows come home.
They beat the squad up over the winter market for sure.
But I don't think that they're that much better than Napoli. I think Napoli are well within a chance to beat them. I thought
so when we were drawn, I was convinced we're going to beat them. Now it's like a 50-50, I think. I think they've really made a lot of improvements. Even though yesterday they were up 1-0 in the second minute to I think it was Espanyol. I could be wrong. But they ended up going down 2-1 with a few minutes left, and then in the 96th minute they got the equalizer. So they ended up equalizing yesterday. But I mean, still, but yes, Espanyol, Barcelona should be running through these teams, and they're not.
They are in transition, of course, and I think Napoli are in a better shape than Barcelona are.
So I think that's why we get past them this round, though. Even if
look, I hope Napoli win the Europa League. I mean, it would be beautiful. You have history in this tournament. It was last time you won it was with Diego, and it would be beautiful if you won it again.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Nima. Top 4 Europa League trophy, Scudetto, lose against Barcelona.
I mean, do we even have to ask? It's a Scudetto.
But
it's Scudetto losing. I remember. I forgot who it was.
But what do you think is more realistic? What do you think is more? Well, I mean, you're confident.
What's more realistic? What's more realistic?
I know you're confident in their chances now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll grant you that. But what do you think is more realistic
for Napoli?
Yeah.
I think the Europa League is more realistic.
Okay.
But that's because I think Inter will, because I'm looking at the games they've got left. I'm looking at Napoli's fixture list as well, and Inter's is a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier. Milan have the most difficult one. Then it's Napoli, and then it's Inter. Inter only have Juve away, which is truly going to be. I already count 0 points there. Inter never win against Juve away, especially with a Juve that needs to finish the top 4. We know how that goes. So we don't need to say much about that, but it's not going to happen. So I'm already counting in the 0 points there. So that means that the rest, I look at the rest and I'm thinking, you play Lazio and Sarri. Yeah, you can beat them. Absolutely. But it's still not going to be easy, especially now a Lazio who are looking better than
rolling.
Yeah, they're rolling and it's starting to click. And we know, you guys know, if anything, when Sarri balls clicks, it's hard. I'm glad Inter don't have to play them again because it's not nice as an opponent. And then you have Atalanta as well, who's also starting to click. So that's why I think that it's more realistic that Inter win it. I hope you win the Europa League. I really do. I think it would be beautiful.
Okay, I'll take it. I mean, I think that's the counter argument to wanting to kind of like develop this winning mentality and trying to go for these European trophies. But
I mean, if you win the Europa League and finish second in the Serie A, that is an outstanding result. Like
I agree.
That is like that cements your place as a top side in Italy. Like then next season going in there, you're equal favorites. I mean, with a good mercato.
Right.
I mean, let's come on. Second spot and a UEFA, like a Europa League title for the second or third time in your history. Come on, it's unbelievable.
It would be the second Europa League final in history. It would be our third semifinal when we get there. But I mean, I want a meaningful trophy, and I don't mean to disrespect Coppa Italia because I'm not one to disrespect even the Super Coppa, but I want something other than a Coppa Italia in this era of ADL.
Yeah, it's about that time, I think.
And I'm telling you, if it's a Europa League with a Champions League finish, I'm thrilled.
You should be.
I do remember, and I forgot who it was off the top of my head, and I've been trying to think of it, but I remember someone saying something to the effect of, like, who cares about, like if Inter win the Scudetto, which they did last season, and this is last season, on their way to the Scudetto. It's like, when Inter win the Scudetto, do you think Inter fans are really going to give a shit that they didn't make it out of the group stage of the Champions League?
No, because
brought them to Scudetto.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just worried, Nima, because when you say things like maybe we should give up on the Europa League, that has happened before.
Sorry for that.
We don't do Quinton is on fire. We don't do Sally ball around here anymore. We only do Spalletti Vongole. Spalletti Vongole. I like that. That's awesome.
That was funny. Yeah, sorry, Raff.
No, that's okay. The fact that we've done that before, Nima, and have come up empty-handed is just, I don't want to see that again.
Yeah.
I want to give 100% in every competition, and if we win them one or both, that's great. And if we lose, at least we lost fighting.
Yeah.
Like, I can't deal with tanking one for the sake of the other and then coming.
No, I get that. I get that, and I don't think what I mean is like focusing more on the one and the other. And
sure.
But I mean, had you beaten Inter, then for me, I would have sent the Primavera to Barcelona.
Play the kids.
No. If you beaten Inter and you beat 2 points ahead of Inter, I mean, even if they're a game in hand, with the energy that gives, and on equal points with Milan, and going to play Milan, then you're the favorites to win the Scudetto, then I would literally play the Primavera. I would send the kids to Barcelona and have fun, kids.
Yeah, go
have fun.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
We'll be across the street having a pizza or something. Like, you guys go nuts.
Like parents abroad. You know what I mean?
Like, right.
So but they didn't. So I think that kind of makes it. And I agree with the comment. I can't remember who it was who said it. I think it was Matteo who said that if you get past Barcelona, you're the best team in the competition. I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think that would be an important trophy for Spalletti. It would give him the respect that he deserves, and that would also give you a boost. And it would be important because it would be the first time an Italian team wins a title since Inter won the Champions League in 2010. You know, it's been 12 years. It's far too long. So, and I don't think Juve or Inter are going to win the Champions League. So I say, you know, Napoli have the best chance to do so. And if you get past Barcelona, I agree with everything Matteo said. Yes, I'd say Napoli are the favorites.
Yeah,
to win it.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's a correct assessment.
Nima, let me ask you a question. Ralph, I don't know if you wanted to transition to anywhere else or
no,
not.
I'm good right there. I mean, we should wrap up soon, but
we'll wrap up soon.
Yeah,
I want to get Nima's Inter perspective for a minute here. Liverpool. How do you feel about this? Like Jesus, I know it's Liverpool. I know.
No, it's just horrible, because the reason I say it's horrible is because this is there were 2-3 teams I really did not want Inter to play, because I don't think that we are ready to play them, and I don't think we're not. And what I mean by ready is we're not there yet to be able to face teams like a PSG. No, sorry, like a Bayern Munich, Man City, and Liverpool. Because the way that they counterattack is, and the way that they press you, and Inter's ability to lose balls, important balls in the build-up phase and the transition phase, and you do that against Liverpool with Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane on the counterattack on one-on-ones. I mean, you know, as Di Canio said yesterday on Sky Club Calcio, arrivederci Inter if you do it. Ciao ciao.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
And it is ciao ciao, because we're talking about one of the best teams in the world. We're talking about in my opinion, the best counter-attacking side in the world. Right up there with Bayern Munich. I can't choose between them who's better at the counterattack. And they have the players that are just lethal in those positions. And I'm just worried, man. It's you know, I'm worried. If this was Conte, I wouldn't be as worried, because I know Conte is so rigid and controlled in the system, and he loses, but he doesn't get his ass handed back to him. And I think if Inter don't concentrate against Liverpool, and having come from these somewhat bad results, I don't want to play Liverpool right now. You know, I really don't. But having said that, look, Inter's objective was to get through to the second round for the first time in a decade. That's it. Everything else is a bonus.
Good.
And to be honest, I want the Scudetto. I don't care about a quarterfinal place in the Champions.
That was my next question. What do you care about?
Oh, no. The Scudetto is the most important thing for Inter to open up a winning cycle, to win the Scudetto and the Coppa Italia.
I think that speaks volumes for Inter. If they were to repeat as Scudetto winners, losing, especially after losing
Lukaku, Hakimi, Eriksen, and their coach.
Eriksen.
I mean, that's 4 of the most important, you know, ingredients in that particular dish, and to bring in a new unproven guy like Inzaghi, and he brings no one in their right mind would say that Dumfries is better than Hakimi, that Çalhanoğlu is better than Eriksen, that Dzeko is better than Lukaku, or that, you know, or any of those things. But it's looked really well, and you know, and then if they, for me, because I think the Scudetto's race is going to be so tight next year, that this is, I think, and also because I think Inter are going to do a little bit of a rebuild. I think Marotta's sacrificing a few more experienced players to bring in some cash and rebuild, and maybe not win this title next season, but the season after that, kind of thing. And I think so. This is a really important title. The second star. Can't forget the dynamics.
Just going to say that when you get the second star,
that's incredibly important for the self
to do it before Milan does it too, right?
Yes, and for the self confidence of the club, you know, dethroning Juve from the Coppa Italia, the Supercoppa, the Serie A, the second star. It's good for this. It's good for their self confidence. It's good for their belief, and they need that. And it's therefore it's really important. It's so much more important than quarterfinal of the Champions League. Like, it's obviously you want everything, but if I have to choose and it's a binary choice, Serie A any day, Serie A title any day. In this moment in time, Serie A title any day.
I'm with it because I remember talking to Alex Dono and I was like, Inter had so much to prove coming into the season because of what happened, because losing a few of their big players, and a lot of lights were on you guys. And I think, who knows if things didn't go well, how much shit they would have probably caught. But they're here now. They're they're heavy favorites for the Scudetto, the second Scudetto.
It's a great team. It's a great team, man.
You
guys
it's awesome.
But also,
awesome. I have no hate towards that team, towards the fans. I don't.
No, but you also have, because of what's going to happen. Vecino's contract expires. I think he might even join you. I think Spalletti would take him on a free transfer. Yeah, he's as a backup player for you guys. Spalletti loves the guy, and he wouldn't cost you anything as
on
a backup.
Free, I take him.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take anything for free.
It's not our MO. So like, Vecino's a decent enough player to take him take on a free.
And Spalletti knows how to use him, and he likes him, and so that would be. I think as a backup player that would work. And I think, and then Vidal is leaving, and then you have to decide what to do with Sensi, Stefano De Vrij. That has to be resolved in the summer to some extent. And then you have Lautaro, because I think Inter. I know Inter fans don't like to hear it, but I think I don't see how Inter don't make two big sales again this summer. Yeah. I think Lautaro and De Vrij are the ones that are leaving, and I think that the way Marotta looks at this, especially after the comments he's made as well, I've had the feeling also, that this is his last season since summer for Lautaro. But after the comments that Marotta made the other day about financial sustainability is more important than sporting results, then that tells me everything I need to know. That's pretty much him saying we are going to buy young, we're going to buy talented, homegrown, sustainable, long-term, low wages, and that's what they're doing. And I think Lautaro, if you're looking at that team, who do you sell? Well, it's Lautaro. You don't sell Bastoni and Barella unless you want. No, unless you want to have Molotov cocktails flying in through the window, because that's what, you try talking to this fan base after the summer they had, then you're selling Barella and Bastoni.
Yeah,
good luck with that. Good luck selling that. Good luck with that.
Can't have that.
Lautaro, no, they're not having that. They're not having that. So Lautaro and De Vrij are the ones that I think wouldn't bother people either. And they would bring enough money for them to bring in Bremer, which I think would be ideal for Inter, because he allows Inter to play with a much higher defensive line because he's so fast. That
you said Bremer.
Bremer. Yeah, Torino's.
Did he not just sign an extension?
Well, an extension by a year.
Okay.
So instead of 2023,
intent to sell, basically.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's why he said it. I mean, he pretty much confirmed that last weekend that I signed because I kept my deal of the bargain.
Mm-hmm.
So now, but he's focused, and and to me, I hope he stays in the Serie A. I think it's going to be difficult.
He's a good player.
He's the best Serie A. I mean, in my opinion, he's been, defensively the best Serie A defender in the season.
Oh, really?
This season. I think he's been. He's pocketed everyone. Like he just shuts them down. They don't get a sniff in the games where Vlahovic was comfortably in his pocket for the games when he played, and it's not just Vlahovic, it's all of them. They don't get a sniff because he's so fast. He makes small mistakes. He makes tiny tactical errors. He's only 24, but he makes up with it with his athleticism and his speed and his ability to get back into the situation. And I know that Marotta wants him. I know that Inter want him. And if you can get somewhere around 120 million for De Vrij and Lautaro, well, that's your Bremer sorted, that's your Scamacca sorted, that's your Fratesi sorted, and maybe even Raspadori sorted. That's all your players. One swipe up. That's Marotta. That's how Marotta works.
That used to not be Italian at all. It's got a bunch of Italians on their team.
Yeah, no, that's Marotta. This is Marotta.
That's Marotta. You're right. 100%.
This is how he works. He goes in. He pinpoints what needs to be done. Okay, if I sacrifice this, what can I get in return? And that's how the guy. That's why he's the best, I think. And I think that's what he's planning to do. And they've already got a goalkeeper in Onana.
Onana. How do you feel about that?
I think this is something that needed to be done. a few years ago. I don't know if Onana is the right guy, but everyone speaks the world of him. And
he's a
above
good
all,
keeper.
he's quick on the lines and reaction.
Yeah.
His reactions are great, and I think the fact that he's fast as well, because I think the idea of this is the plan is Bremer and Onana allows you to play with a higher defensive line, which suits the overall balance of how Simone Inzaghi likes to play football generally, meaning a much more forward tilted, more attacking side balanced team. That's what he wants to do. He can't do that with De Vrij and Skriniar. You know, you need to have Bremer in the middle and Bastoni, so it makes up for Skriniar, who struggles in lateral movements because he's not that quick laterally and running backwards. With Bremer and Bastoni, you resolve that. You can play with a higher line. And if you have Onana, who does like Neuer does, runs out, then you've sorted that out. You've taken care of that issue. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. That's how it looks to me anyway when I look in as I'm
That'd be great strategy, man. I mean, the possibilities are endless if you can sell
next year Serie A. I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying. Like I know we have an amazing season right now, but next year Serie A, Roma are gonna do so much. Juve are gonna do so much. Inter, Milan, Napoli, they're all gonna. Atalanta. This is gonna be. It's gonna be the Serie A for the ages next year.
I just want these teams to win in Europe now. Like, do you remember that, Nima? I mean, of course you do. How dare me ask you? You know, these teams were winning, European championships, UEFA Cups,
UEFA Cup, all Italian
every single
UEFA
season.
Cup finals.
Every season it was
all
one or
Italian
the other above.
Champions League,
yeah, and
I think since 2006 though, Serie A has been getting better year by year, and now look, you saw last year down to the wire, this season down to the wire. God knows what next season is going to look like. I mean, you got to be excited as a Calcio fan. I mean, COVID kind of set back a little bit the league maybe for that year or so, like a little bit of that progression, and that's why you have all these. Listen, Della catches shit all the time. Oh, he's only thinking about. I think every owner, every GM in Italy right now is thinking about the financial situation, and it's a big deal. And I think we'll be okay. I think
Napoli is. Yeah, I think we're fine.
No, well, not just Napoli. I mean, Serie A in general.
No, I think they've turned a corner.
Okay.
I think they've turned a corner, and the fact that when Marotta talks of sustainability like that, and Juve are where they are, they're starting to sell players and move stuff. And as for Napoli and Atalanta, they're the best run clubs in Italy financially. Mm-hmm. I mean, Napoli is one of the few clubs that have consistently turned a profit every single year that ADL has been there, and he's not doing it because he's stingy. He's doing it because he's smart. He knows that he has to for Napoli to be able to compete, and they have. I mean, he's a fantastic owner. I mean, if we put all the all the craziness aside, I mean, look at what he's done. I mean, look what he took over, and look what he's got you guys into. I mean, if you had a half decent city council, he'd be building that new stadium, and you'd be flying. You
can't use that with some people anymore, Nima. Like that, for some reason, that argument is.
Because it's like sexual frustration. They want a fucking trophy. That's it. If we had one Scudetto by now or one Europa, like a Europa League even, I think the pressure would have been a little bit off. Napoli want to win. So, they want to win, period. And I get it. We all want the trophy. The Coppa, even for you, Rafa, the Coppa Italias, the financial stability, it's just not enough anymore to kind of like satisfy our palates. But
you're right. You're right.
I'm not agreeing with it, but I'm saying that this is what it is. Let's be honest. We want. It's like I'm saying it without.
Personally, I crave a Scudetto.
Carry the cross.
I mean, if you're not in
a trophy, even a Euro. Well, all right, Europa League, not just, but I guess the.
No, yeah. I mean, I crave a European trophy of any sort, and a Scudetto. Bad, I do, but. You can't sit here and tell me like that this has been a failure. Like this is not working out.
Compared to what? I mean, what parameters?
Right.
What do you compare them to?
Right.
And that's what I do, Nima. I compare them to the Fiorentina of 2002, right? Who was Florentia Viola and then had to go through what they went through to get back to Serie A, to have 2 good seasons under Luca Toni, and that's it. See you later.
No.
A Coppa Italia final, that's it. And then Genoa, who were like, match fixing, sent back down, came back up with us the same season as Juventus, wearing this jersey right here, the Serie B jersey in 2007. And look at where Genoa has, 2 owners, countless managers, players, bottom of the table finishes almost every season.
No one can say the fact that ADL, just the invention of it, it's so genius what he did with just the jerseys this season to create revenue out of nothing. It is brilliant, really. If you're not going to work with that, okay, we'll work with Armani and we'll create these kick-ass jerseys and we will monetize it on that and we'll make it here in Naples and ship it all over the world with
another
Amazon.
one Thursday, Nima. There's another one Thursday.
You just made Rafa's year, Nima. Thank you.
Another one Thursday, brother.
No, but it's pretty cool. I think when in desperate times you need to be creative, and I think what he's done is he's done it. He hasn't like gone and done it with some, he's done it, kept it locally. They're being produced in Naples and they're being done by Armani, Italian fashion, and everything has a design. If it's for Halloween or if it's for Maradona or if it's for
1996. But would you wear that fire jersey?
I'm going to
be honest.
Fire.
No,
which one is the
fire? The latest one with the flame kit.
The one we wore against you.
Yeah, I really like. I think they're all beautiful. I think they're awesome. I think they're really. But the Maradona jersey is. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that?
The thumbprint Maradona. Okay, fair enough.
The Maradona jersey for me is just.
You're not feeling the Maradona jersey.
Who? Me?
No, Nima.
No, I love it. I want it.
No, you love it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I would. That is the one I want. Like, I when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, that's if I'm buying a Napoli, that's the one. Like, it's. Done.
Do you need one? Do you need one, Nima?
Do you need one? we know a couple guys.
You know a guy who knows a guy. Right?
Yeah, we know. It might be drawn on, but
brilliant.
Right.
No, it's awesome. It's beautiful, and I love the fact that they're so stylish. Like they all are so damn stylish, and it's he's created revenue streams because he had to. This COVID screwed everything for him. He wasn't expecting it, so it's going to be interesting to see next season now that everything opens and everything normalizes. I think he might continue with Armani because it's been successful, and sure you can do a deal with Nike or Kappa or whoever and get your guaranteed X amount of million a year if you want to. It's less labor intensive, but if your bottom line is your bottom line, and next season if you sure, if you can do that, but if you can't, then he doesn't care. That's why he does the thing with the image rights. He doesn't put Napoli's finances at question. He doesn't risk them, and that's something as a fan you got to be happy about. I don't get why people are upset over that. Sure, you might not buy 100 million players, but you bought Osimhen for like how much, and then he's worth 100 million now. Like that's just how it is. Unless you have a state backing you up or not, like
right.
Quentin, I'm with you.
Your wallet.
Excuse
my dresser drawers, but so does my wallet. Take a look at all that.
See those boxes, everybody?
How many?
Those are Napoli's.
I really didn't want to like.
How many? That's 10.
That's more. There's more underneath it.
Rafa needs intervention. Like,
I swear to God, you have the most understanding wife in the world. Like, or sorry, fiance.
She loves me no matter what. Listen. Like, I don't tell her what to. I don't tell her what to do with her money. She doesn't tell me what to do with mine. The bills paid. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but that is like
we're eating ramen every night. But
Listen, now we know why.
When those Maradona kits were announced, I had to buy a plethora of in every size of them, and I've resold a few, Nima, and I think that's my goal, is to resell the ones that won't fit me ever, and then hopefully the ones that'll fit me one day I can wear. But
they're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're absolutely
beautiful. And it's just it's been fun to do it too, and now that this next kit is coming out, I think it's the Barcelona against Barcelona. I think we're wearing the flames in a Europe style, so possibly with gold latte or with the gold trim. It's going to be very, very nice. And the biggest thing about all of it is that nobody is distributing it
It's just
aside from
Napoli.
us. Napoli
it's just
is
you're
the only
controlling
distributor.
You're doing everything. You're doing it the whole way through. He's doing it
Right.
like from start to finish. He's getting it done. He's getting it designed. He's getting it shipped. Everything. So there's like he controls the entire process, and I think that's a smart thing to do. Sure, it's if Nike comes and says we'll pay you 20 million euros here in cash and guarantee you 20 million euros, you're not going to turn that down. That's 20 million euros a year.
Sure.
But unless you have that, I think he does. I think he's a brilliant businessman. I really do. I've never understood the criticism of how he runs Napoli. I never have. Really haven't. Especially financially. When you turn a profit every year, what do you want? What else can you like? It's not like you haven't been fighting for titles and trophies and been in Europe and Champions Leagues, and you've done all that.
Listen, this will be year 13 consecutively qualifying for Europe in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
We've missed Europe in one season in Serie A since we got back.
That's amazing. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I'm with you, Nima. It's some people aren't. They see that. They see.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
We don't either. We're still trying to figure it out.
But like, come on, you guys have got like, when have you ever had that in your history? Never. Not even been close.
And
like,
you know what's funny? Think about all the new fans that are
you're building
on board.
Yeah,
we're building. I mean, can't even imagine what the next 10 years are going to look like.
Yeah, but I mean, also look at like Naples as a city. How many people emigrated away from Naples to all over the world?
Right.
And who have their roots, like you guys, for example, and they look back and they feel a connection with that. There's millions of people in Australia, in the UK, Canada, US, everywhere who feel that. And that's just, you have that advantage that Southern Italians have over the North. Of course, the North, Milan and Inter and Juve, they're giant brands, they're global brands. But you guys have that advantage that people have a connection to Naples. Via roots, maybe one or two generation removed. Yeah. That's unique, and I think the bigger Napoli gets, the stronger that brand grows, and it's a special relationship, and I think it's very typical of Italian football, and it's beautiful. I think it's very beautiful.
That said, guys, we're just flying over past the 1 hour mark. So Nima, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of I know we mentioned. But yes, the entire podcast.
Funny. Quinton is fucking funny. Sorry.
Quinton is our resident chat comedic man.
He's made me laugh this entire episode. Exactly. No, it's what he says. Exactly, because the diaspora being poor. Exactly.
Better in time.
He's right. No, it's been an absolute pleasure, guys.
I don't know if I mean
Pasqua,
you know I'm in. Especially the more I sell those,
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, it's gonna be bad. I have to apply for like another credit card if we end up getting it. On our
I have another 5 of those the Navy kits at my parents' house. I still haven't gotten able to pick up.
Jeez Louise. But Nima, real quick, I don't know if you want to plug anything or tell anybody any projects that you're working on.
Yeah, no, it's we do the Italian football podcast bi-weekly, minimum 2 times a week.
Podcast, mind you.
Thanks.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You've always
I thoroughly enjoy the interviews, man. Like you got everybody. I fully encourage everybody to throw. It's a couple dollars. It's
$2.99 a month.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Put it in.
Yeah, thanks, beautiful. Guys. I really appreciate it. No, it's we try to give everyone, bring them as close to the Italian football experience as we can. We have the Monday episode where we review everything, the craziness that's happened, because it is Italy still. It's crazy and funny and intense and entertaining and never dull. And then we talk through it and we contextualize it and analyze it. And then on the Thursday episodes, we try to interview someone or something connected to Italian football, either past, present, or future even. From presidents to players, current, former, colleagues and friends of mine in Italy, who cover For example, when we have our Torino special, which we have once or twice a year, I talk to Diego Fornero, who worked for Toro News, it's the best site. Or when we have Fiorentina, we have Nicola Misulu, who runs the biggest news site of Fiorentina in Florence. So, we try to do stuff like that. Or when we do Mercato specials, we bring on Nicola Schira or Gianluigi Longari on, or when we do interviews, it's everyone from Spal President Joe Tacopina to Gerard Deulofeo or whatever. We try to do it as much as possible to bring people as close to Italy without actually being there.
I told you about how Tacopina represented one of my friends, right?
I think you did.
Yeah,
he's awesome. He's
crazy.
He's awesome.
And now he's the owner of Spal, president of Spal, and Giuseppe Rossi's playing there too. So that's crazy.
Yeah, we interviewed him too. I forgot to mention. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
The funniest part of that was seeing John, because Solano and him interact, because that was hilarious. The way, because John was speaking about Vincenzo Montella, and he called him Vinny, and Giuseppe Rossi goes, "Who? My uncle, my cousin Vinny? What are you talking about?"
My cousin Vinny.
And they went off on one. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. No, that was a fun interview.
What has been your favorite interview so far?
I think every single one has something special to it. But I think Nocerino was interesting as hell. Some of these things you learn a lot from as well.
Yeah,
like and the journeys that people have.
Right.
I learned when we spoke to Roy Hodgson, and he explained how he drove in the middle of the night through the Alps in Switzerland to arrive in Milan to sign for Inter as the coach, like the craziness. And it was a snowstorm, and he almost never got there because he could have died. And the tunnel that was going to drive through was almost, stuff like that gets me. Or Jay Bothroyd, who was that was one of those amazing where he was at Perugia with Gaddafi's son, and and he says that Zaf wanted to buy everyone a Mercedes after he made his first performance, and he said, no, you don't need to do that, Zaf. And so they went to Monaco, and that weekend they had at the casino. I mean, it's just the stories, man. It's just, these are the things. I can't pick a favorite, but those. Or talking to Tacopina when he was angry after, what's his name, the former Rome, Palotta had started talking crap about him on and Joe was like, he called him a keyboard warrior. It's funny. It's really, these are experiences, and it's hard to pick one, but it's been, I'm really proud of what we do. And I'm really overwhelmed with all the support from everyone, including yourself. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Definitely check it out. Nima Tavallaey on the Italian Football Podcast, guys. But Nima, thank you again so much. It's always a pleasure to have you here on the rant.
Pleasure is mine, guys.
Good luck to you guys for the rest of the season, man. It's going to be a doozy. I still think it's going to come down. I don't know. I still can't choose. I'm going to die on the hill that Napoli win the Scudetto. I have to. I made a commitment to dying on that hill. Like a Spartan.
Yeah, I was the one who picked Inter to win the Scudetto despite the losses. And
no, I did as well. I thought they were when the Mercato was over. I always wait until the end of the Mercato because I think it's silly to do predictions before. And in the summer, and then I had Inter first, and the rest was so difficult because I think it's not so much, back in August, you're thinking, you're scratching your brain. There's not that much between them. And I think I had Napoli fifth, but I'm glad I'm wrong because I want Napoli back in the Champions League, and I really, really, and I hope you win the Europa League. I really think I agree with, I think it was Matteo said, go past Barcelona. It looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good, and it would be beautiful if you could win a trophy, 1AD as we call it.
1AD, I love it.
1AD.
Thank you so much. I guess we'll find out this Thursday, guys, when we face Barcelona in the
Europa
Europa League.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. Good luck to you guys on Wednesday. We'll probably see you again next Monday. We're gonna need it, right? But until then, guys, Forza Napoli sempre. Have a good night. Thank you for everybody.
Ciao.
Ciao. Be good.